EBK, Everybody Killer, has been putting Stockton on the map in the rap game, but many fans don't know about the intense beefs they're rapping about. They have enemies all over the city, and today we're breaking down why they have such a huge target on their backs. EBK is mainly based around 2100 Nightingale on the southeast side of Stockton. Back in the day, the area was pretty chill, with different sets around, but everyone was focused on hustling and making money. The streets in Stockton have always been wild, but things really turned up when EBK came around. EBK's biggest rivals are the Flyboys, whose territory is just down the street from Nightingale, which is why the beef is so intense. There was always tension between the people from Nightingale and other sets around A Street, but things got even crazier when EBK started beefing with everyone. EBK was started by EBK Osama and his crew, and Osama was allegedly blood brothers with the biggest rapper from the crew, EBK Jabo. Many rap fans first heard of EBK because of Jabo, but EBK was also making headlines for causing chaos in the city. In May 2019, two EBK affiliates, Brian Norman and Raymond Gaines, shot and killed a man named Ronald Celestine around March Lane and Holiday Drive. It's unclear who Ronald Celestine was affiliated with, but EBK clearly had major problems with him. Just 3 days later, they went after his family again. Let me know if you need more adjustments. Later, Ronald Celestine's family was holding a candlelight vigil for him when shooters pulled up and started firing into the crowd. Tragically, Ronald's cousin Benny Lott was shot and killed, and 3 others were wounded. EBK wasn't done, though. 2 days later, they allegedly hit their rivals again, injuring 2 more people. The back-to-back shootings made headlines, and the police knew they had to act. A month later, they arrested Brian Norman, Raymond Gaines, and 7 other alleged EBK affiliates. While EBK was dealing with police pressure, a guy tied to their crew, Young Slobby, started making a name for himself in the rap game. Some sources say Young Slobby wasn't officially part of EBK, but he was connected to many of their affiliates. He grew up around Mill Avenue and followed his dad into the streets. His mom and grandma tried to keep him out of that life, and he initially played sports in school. But when he saw the hustlers making money, he wanted to be like them. Slobby learned how to survive the streets from his dad, who also inspired him to start rapping. His dad had a studio at home, and Slobby recorded his first track after sneaking into the studio while his dad was away. Slobby's dad saw his potential, but it still took time for Slobby to really get serious about his music. In 2018, he decided to go all in with his rap career, but it wasn't an overnight success at all. First, he only got a few streams on his songs. He almost gave up, but then later, Ronald Celestine's family was holding a candlelight vigil for him when shooters pulled up and started firing into the crowd. Tragically, Ronald's cousin Benny Lott was shot and killed, and 3 others were wounded. EBK wasn't done, though. 2 days later, they allegedly hit their rivals again, injuring 2 more people. The back-to-back shootings made headlines, and the police knew they had to act. A month later, they arrested Brian Norman, Raymond Gaines, and 7 other alleged EBK affiliates. While EBK was dealing with police pressure, a guy tied to their crew, Young Slobby, started making a name for himself in the rap game. Some sources say Young Slobby wasn't officially part of EBK, but he was connected to many of their affiliates. He grew up around Mill Avenue and followed his dad into the streets. His mom and grandma tried to keep him out of that life, and he initially played sports in school. But when he saw the hustlers making money, he wanted to be like them. Slobby learned how to survive the streets from his dad, who also inspired him to start rapping. His dad had a studio at home, and Slobby recorded his first track after sneaking into the studio while his dad was away. Slobby's dad saw his potential, but it still took time for Slobby to really get serious about his music. In 2018, he decided to go all in with his rap career, but it wasn't an overnight success at all. First, he only got a few streams on his songs. He almost gave up, but then a lot of people dancing to his music had no idea about his wild background. Some of EBK's rivals diss him because not all EBK members are from around Nightingale, but that's where Jabo was born and raised. He got active in the streets when he was just 12 years old and wasn't thinking about becoming a rapper, but his life might have been different if his dad hadn't been killed. Jabo's dad, RAR, was also a rapper and came up on N Avenue. RAR's mom was addicted to drugs, and his dad was often locked up, so RAR started breaking into houses and hustling to survive. One day, when he broke into an abandoned house with his friends, he found a local rapper's tape. After listening to it and hearing the rapper shout out Stockton, RAR decided to start rapping and put Stockton on the map. Despite his run-ins with the law, he kept making music and tried to make it out of the streets for the sake of his kids. At one point, RAR got an opportunity to fly to Atlanta for a big meeting, but his probation officer didn't approve. Even so, RAR knew it was too important, so he went. Unfortunately, the deal fell through, and when his probation officer found out, RAR was locked up for violating his parole. After getting out, he went even harder with his music, building his own studio and making beats. He started getting his name known in Stockton, but then tragedy struck when his friend Tall T, another local rapper, was shot and killed. RAR and Tall T had planned to take over the rap game together, and losing him was a huge blow. Before J-Bo and Rari could make it out of Stockton, tragedy struck when Rari's close friend Tall T was shot and killed in Long Park. Rari wanted J-Bo to make music too, and would bring him to the studio, even letting him sing on one of his tracks. Rari was on his way up and dreamed of getting J-Bo and the rest of the family out of Nightingale. But when J-Bo was just 11 years old, Rari was tragically killed by some teenagers in the neighborhood. There are different stories about what happened, but rumors say that J-Bo and his friend Osama were robbed by some teens. Rari allegedly confronted them about it, and that's when the teens pulled out a gun and shot him dead. If Rari had continued to rise in the rap game, J-Bo might have had a different life, but after Rari's death, everything changed. J-Bo went straight into the streets, getting into trouble and getting locked up. He started stealing cars and eventually got caught with a stolen vehicle. J-Bo's mom had worked at juvenile hall, but by the time he was active in the streets, she had retired. All the staff knew who he was, and they would call her to let her know when he was getting into fights. J-Bo went in and out of jail as a teenager, and that's when he started rapping, using his music to talk about his enemies. Losing his dad pushed him deeper into the streets. On the track, Sweet Lady, J-Bo raps, "Been on the hype since them suckers knocked my mans down." He also raps about his dad's death. "Can't let you say that you my bro if you ain't left a enemy sinking or at least tried to." J-Bo has been rapping since he was 15, but he had to take time off after getting charged for shooting someone at school. According to J-Bo, one of his friends was being jumped, so he pulled out his strap and started shooting.
That's a close case too. Shit, we was at school. Shit got weird. Suckers trying to jump sis. Got on.
J-Bo wasn't actually trying to hurt anyone that time, but he got sent to juvenile detention. He kept getting more time added to his sentence. J-Bo came back home and got back in the studio. There were rumors that he was involved in the killing of a rapper named K Squeeze, who had ties to Sacramento. Before he was killed, Slobby had started getting involved in Sacramento's rap scene after linking up with Briss. Briss had beef with another rapper named I Marcus, who dropped a track called 42K, where he dissed Briss. The situation also tied into a long-running beef between CML Lavish D and Maisie. Briss was cool with Lavish D, while I Marcus was close with Maisie. Rumors said I Marcus was dissing Briss because they were both allegedly involved with the same girl. There were also rumors about Slobby's death being connected to this beef. J-Bo added to the speculation by making posts on IG after K-Squeeze was killed, making it look like retaliation for Slobby. There's no solid evidence linking J-Bo to K-Squeeze's death, but the rumors helped him gain more attention in the rap game. He blew up on social media, but then in 2023 he got hit with gun charges and was locked up again. He got out on bail after 6 months. Months later, J-Bo told No Jumper that he was going to take rap seriously. Every time he's free, he goes hard in the studio, but his career keeps getting slowed down because of his constant legal issues. Despite dealing with legal drama since he was 14, J-Bo's music is still blowing up, with millions of streams every time he drops something new. There are rumors he'll be free again in 2025, but in August 2024, he did an interview from prison and said he's good behind bars. While locked up, J-Bo even released a new album and got so popular that his fans started a petition to make him the new mayor of Stockton. J-Bo says that a lot of rappers have a target on their backs, and that's why he's been locked up so much. He went down for a pistol case, and his co-defendants didn't do any time. but the prosecutors wanted to give J-Bo a 4-year sentence. Luckily, he might not be locked up that long. His fans are ready for him to get out and stay out of legal trouble. Meanwhile, EBK kept tearing up the streets of Stockton. After Damar from the Flyboys was killed, EBK allegedly struck again and killed a dude named Jail. EBK Lil Play was booked for the murder. In 2024, the Flyboys faced heavy losses, starting with the deaths of Cholo, Trap Mob Loss, Lil Loss, and Lil A in separate shootings. But the Flyboys weren't the only ones losing people. In April 2024, EBK Osama, one of the original members of EBK and rumored to be J-Bo's half-brother, was shot and killed. There were rumors that the ops used a woman to set him up. EBKK also reportedly lost another member the same week. Osama's death caused a big impact on the crew, and it also led to internal beef. Osama and his homie Har B had caught a case together, and people started saying that Har B snitched on Osama. Har B, his brother Young Jock, and other EBK members split off and formed their own group, Every Brother Counts, EBC. The beef between J-Bo and Har B got serious, and J-Bo even dissed Har B in a song, rapping about how Har B couldn't handle the pressure and started eating cheese. J-Bo and Young Jock are blood cousins, so this beef became personal. Young Jock had some buzz in rap before J-Bo, but once J-Bo started blowing up and taking EBK to new heights, fans noticed they weren't in each other's videos, and it seemed like they were dissing each other in their songs. On one track, Jock rapped about not caring even if it was his own cousin, showing how deep the tension was. But when asked about the beef in interviews, both J-Bo and Jock downplayed it, saying it was more of a family issue than anything else. Eventually, Jabo and Young Jock worked things out because Jabo ended up in one of Jock's recent music videos. Most of the EBK members are Bloods, but Osama was different. After the beef started, Young Sobi dissed Osama in the track On Point and called out other members. Luckily, the beef was resolved before it escalated because EBK already had too many enemies. Although there was still some tension within EBK, they all showed love to Osama after his death. EBK has been losing a lot of members, and to make things worse, many of their enemies are now teaming up. The Flyboys have connected with a group called the Muddy Boys, whose biggest rapper, MB Nil, has been dissing EBK for years. On an unreleased track, MB Nil rapped that they were the real EBK and threw shots at the crew EBK them hot girls crossing politics South Side, Big in charge. It's always been that West Side and South these, link for some get back MB Nel. Also aired out some EBK dudes who aren't from N. Andale and R. Jocking from the Gills. He was MB Nil from the Muddy Boys has been dissing EBK for a long time. He raps about being from the North, mentioning Slobby from San Diego and Jabo from EBK, calling out their connections and dissing their ops. According to MB Nil, the Muddy Boys are a newer set that originated from an OG Filipino gang called the L-Town Crips. Some of them were cool with EBK affiliates back in the day, even making music together. But things changed when the Muddy Boys started linking up with the Flyboys, and now they've been beefing with EBK. Some people, like Bands, rep both the Flyboys and Muddy Boys. Bands used to listen to EBK Jabo's tracks on IG, and Jabo even used to check in with him.
J-Bo used to call from the halls and tap in with niggas.
There are many different stories about how the beef between EBK, the Flyboys, and the Muddy Boys started, but one popular rumor is that EBK Trey fought with Mbel, which sparked everything. In an interview with No Jumper, B said that before EBK came up, everyone was cool. Some of their older homies were even friends with people from Nightingale. But when some of the older guys went to jail, the younger generation started forming their own sets, which messed up the structure, and that's when the beef started. Meanwhile, Bands was starting to blow up in the rap game, but then the feds arrested him during a gang sweep and charged him with murder. According to the cops, Bands allegedly killed a guy named Elijah Johnson back in 2019, and now they finally have enough evidence. The feds have gathered enough evidence to potentially lock up Bands for the murder of Elijah Johnson, although it's still unclear exactly what they have on him. The cops usually don't get involved unless they have a strong case, and fans have already started linking him to the shooting. They released surveillance footage of the murder, and some believe the getaway car used in the hit was the same one, used in a music video for his homie Jay Black. Bands had just started to gain traction in 2024 with his first track hitting 100K views in one day, but now it looks like he might never come home. EBK has been taking heavy losses on the streets with members getting locked up, but there's hope for Jabo. If he keeps his head down and avoids more legal trouble, he could rise above and bring his crew out of the streets with him.